It's not rare to hear rape allegations involving celebrities these days. The latest rape allegations are made by Lady Gaga against an unidentified man. Now, this all happened while she was doing an interview with Howard Stern. And Howard Stern is a great interviewer. He has the ability to have people admit to things and reveal things that they otherwise wouldn't reveal. But in this case, Lady Gaga talked about how she had been raped at the age of 19 by a music producer, someone that she worked very closely with, someone who was 20 years older than her. Now, again, she did not identify who this person was, but let me give you the details of what she had to say. She was talking specifically about her song, Swine. She said the following: "The song is about rape. The song is about demoralization. The song is about rage and fury and passion, and I had a lot of pain, and I wanted to release it, and I said to myself, I want to sing this song while I'm ripping hard on a drum kit, and then I want to get on a mechanical bull," which is probably one of the most demoralizing things that you can put a female on in her underwear. "And I want this chick to throw up on me in front of the world so I can tell them, you know what, you can never ever degrade me as much as I could degrade myself, and look how beautiful it is when I do."
Okay, so I'm fairly conflicted on this. So first of all, it's nearly impossible to understand Lady Gaga, right? Mm-hmm. So if they degraded you, why do you have to degrade yourself? And why is that beautiful? And why does a woman have to vomit on you? So these are things that are a mystery to me. Second of all, in the other direction, the song Swine seemed offensive. And I'll tell you why. Because she keeps saying throughout the song, I know you want me, you're such a pig, right? I mean, if you're into S&M, you might really like that. But without this context, it seemed like she was putting down all men. Ha ha, I know you want me, but you can't get me, you're a lowly swine and a pig, right? So now when you give it this context, you go, whoa, no, she's talking about something else entirely, and something that terrible that happened to her. And then I respect the song more because it's about her rage about something she should be enraged about, right? And so I don't often understand Lady Gaga's art, but that's the way that she's expressing herself. And so that's super important context. So in a sense, I'm glad that she told Howard Stern about this so that we at least understand where she's coming from.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say about this. This is something that allegedly happened when she was 19 years old. She doesn't give any details at all, right? And she doesn't have to give details if she doesn't want to. But if someone raped her and this is her outlet, I mean, I'm glad that she has an outlet. I think when you go on a public forum and you start saying, I was raped at 19 by a music producer who's 20 years older than me, you're giving some identifying information with very little details. And I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to say about this as someone who's commenting on the show. I'm going to keep it real. I think that her answer on Howard Stern's show was strange. I don't understand the vomiting thing either. I don't understand the bull thing. It just makes me, I'm going to keep it real. It makes me have a hard time taking the allegations as seriously as I should.
And I'll tell you why, because of the quotes that I'm about to read you guys. That's the next part of the story, okay? She then says, I wasn't even willing to admit anything had even happened. I don't want to be defined by it. I'll be damned if somebody's going to say that every creatively intelligent thing that I ever did is all boiled down to one dickhead that did that to me. I'm going to take responsibility for all my pain looking beautiful. I did that. Now, and she goes on to say, it happens every day, and it's really scary, and it's sad, and it didn't affect me as much right after as it did about 4 or 5 years later. It was so hard, I was so traumatized by it, that I just had to keep going and get out of there. Okay, so now that's the part that, to me, was a red flag of concern, right? So she says, hey, look, don't give the guy credit by saying my rage is because of him and you're crazy. That part I'm totally with. Got it. Great. No problem. I'm with you. She says that the guy said that they were dating, and she's like, how could we be dating? You were 20 years older than me. I mean, of course you could be dating. I mean, there's a lot of people who are 20 years older and date, right? And so the idea of being upset about it 4 or 5 years later, it's impossible to know because we don't know the circumstances. Yeah. So here's two possibilities, right? One is that she decided later to call it rape. And that if that's the case, then I would be super pissed about that and be totally against her. You can't decide 4 or 5 years later, even though it appeared totally consensual at the time and I was into it, I've now decided that I was creeped out by it, so I'm going to call it rape later.
Well,
That's
for some people,
crazy. That's
yeah.
crazy.
So let me just jump in really quick on that point. You know, for some people, they're so traumatized by the experience of what happened to them that they don't even really come to terms with what had happened until years later.
So that's
a possibility.
So that's my second point. It is also entirely possible that she was raped. She was 19. She didn't know how to cope with it.
Mm-hmm.
How does anybody know how to cope with that, right? And then she didn't fully comprehend what was going on until 4 or 5 years later. She was like, Jesus, why did I let him do that to me?
Yeah.
Right? And God, that was sick, and I hate that guy, and that I'd been bottling that up. That is entirely possible, right? Without further details, there's just no way of knowing, right? So...
And I think that's my frustration. I don't know anything. I don't know anything aside from what she told Howard Stern. And it's a frustrating situation to put me into because I'm supposed to comment on this and I don't freaking know what happened, right? So I get annoyed because you make allegations like this and I'm not on anyone's side because I don't know. You know, you don't know how real these allegations are. And then we're going to get people who are going to be angry at us because they're going to say, oh, you're victim blaming. No one's victim blaming, right? But rape allegations are serious, right? So if you're going to say I was raped, then you can't just, I was raped, yeah, and that's the inspiration behind this song. It's a serious thing, and I want to encourage people, and look, I understand when people don't go to the authorities after they are raped, it's a scary situation, right? But it's so freaking important to go to the authorities and gather evidence and prosecute these people, because if you have been raped, he's probably going to go off and rape other people as well.
And I think I can tell what's bothering you. I think it's the same thing that's bothering me. The allegations are made so flippantly, and it timed with the release of a song. Now the song's about that, so we get it, right? But at the same time, it almost seems like, no, wait a minute now. You want to say don't take advantage of this to promote something, right? And maybe that was not her intent at all. And maybe like Howard Stern, like Anna said in the beginning, Howard Stern's a great interviewer and he got it out of her and she wound up saying it when she didn't intend to say it. And this is her personal life and we don't get to judge what she's going to say and what she's not going to say and what she's willing to share and what she's not willing to share. I think we are allowed to say, and it is fair, to be not so flippant about it. And it is certainly going to open up some people to assume one of the two scenarios that I talked about without knowing all the facts, and then say, yeah, girls change their minds 4 or 5 years later. It's all BS. And then you've done damage to the idea of taking the issue seriously. So we wish she was a little more careful on a very important and serious charge, but it's easier for us to say we didn't live through it.